occasion, but they made their own luck by being hard-working and by being very, very good in front of goal. Ainsley Maitland-Niles getting the ball rolling for Arsenal. A shock lead after great work from Iwobi. Then Firmino 2 within 90 seconds before Mane got a third just after the half hour. Salah a spot kick and Firmino likewise in the second half. It all adds up, Rob, to a 5-1 win for Liverpool, and Arsenal have got to respond next time, as we've been saying.
They have. It's been a deeply disappointing afternoon, evening, and it's just one that they've got to put out of their minds as quickly as possible. There's no two ways about it. It's not been a good day at all, but they've just got to get on with it. They play Fulham next, Blackpool, and then they've really got to come away with 2 wins there.
Let's get a little bit more reaction as we head back to Emirates for Arsenal Nation with Nick and the boys. Full time here. It has finished. Liverpool 5, Arsenal 1.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys, and welcome back to the Emirates Stadium. Here with me, Nick Bright, Nigel Winterburn, Johnny Cochran are with me, both absolutely seething at the defeat today. Johnny, sum it up if you can, and you're wearing a Merry Christmas top as well. I mean, it's not ironically either.
Yeah, obviously Santa's been to Liverpool and given them all the gifts, haven't they? Look, I don't want to go over the top. First of all, I think it's Emery's first year, and I don't have any issues with the way. I think Emery had a massive job on. Any Arsenal fans who are out there that thinking this was just going to be some easy job that you're walking in, for me, you're in cuckoo land. Like, it was a big job that was going to take time, and we will need to rebuild this squad. We were in, for me, what was quite a difficult situation. However, this right now is the biggest test of Emery's short Arsenal career so far. We have to respond now from this point on. If this result can be a catalyst for change, like a positive catalyst for an upturn in form for us, we need to certainly beat Fulham. We've got to win all of our games in January, for my money, and it includes Chelsea at home. If we beat Chelsea at home and win the other games, we'll look back and this won't be the be-all and end-all. Liverpool are in a different class to us. They're a better team than us and they're going for different trophies than what we will be going for. But we cannot accept that. That standard is not acceptable, not for this club. And any player that wants to start delivering that week in, week out needs to pack their bags.
Nigel, what did you make of the performance today?
Well, it wasn't good enough. I mean, I'm just so frustrated. I was hoping that we could just draw on the positive results that we've had this season. I thought there was a togetherness about the squad with Unai Emery. But I'm really frustrated with going to Anfield. We've taken the lead. And when you take the lead against a big team away from home, you have to do absolutely everything you can to protect that lead. And it looked like we went to the wedding and threw the confetti around and gave goals away. Like, you know, it was just... I mean, to be fair, I don't like using the word, but we collapsed.
Yeah.
And I thought, surely I'm not going to... You know, this is why all the Arsenal supporters were sort of on to Arsene Wenger at the end. We went to some of the big teams and we took an absolute walloping. I know we've got the injuries, but the players are just going to have to look at themselves tonight. As I said to you before, I was lucky enough to only be in that situation a few times in my Arsenal career. My wife used to tell me, God, I used to hate it when you come home because I used to lock the door, used to cancel all the nights out, and you wouldn't see me till I went in train again on a Monday morning to get rid of my real anger and frustration. And I'm sitting here feeling devastated with that performance. So I don't know what those players are feeling, because it's a horrible feeling. But they've got to get themselves back organised, as Johnny was saying, because it's wrong to say you've got to forget it, but we've got a game coming up so quickly that we now need to win.
Yeah.
And they can analyse that performance after this Christmas and New Year period and say, we can't have anything like that again, because that just was, for me, watching as an ex-Arsenal player was embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not being funny. If I'd have been at home, that would have been off at half-time.
When you're getting all the text messages come through,
I wouldn't have been able to watch that anymore. I'd have just switched it off, and then at 90 minutes gone, I'd have gone onto my phone and had a look at the final result.
Yeah.
And it, well, I think Liverpool, to say we looked a bit more, I don't know, a bit more. Let me tell you, Liverpool dropped 30% in that second half. They took the foot off the gas because they realised they've got a massive game coming up as well.
They were taking players off as well.
The problem is, though, Nick, the saddest indictment is I'm sorry, I could see this coming. Because if we are honest, and it's about time we are honest, the last month, we haven't been good enough. We've been really poor. And you always had that game at Anfield thinking, what's going to happen there when we go up there? If this has come to a massive shock to anyone, again, we've got to readjust where we think we're at. We are nowhere near solid enough. Brighton could have had 3 or 4 against us the other day. You know, you've got Burnley who are creating chances, low on confidence. We have to start shoring this up now. And I also think that it's a big wake-up call with regards to getting new personnel in.
Yeah. Well, speaking of personnel, we are missing a few defensive players, and a few of you having your say on social media. Gabby says we really do miss Bellerin and Holding. Would they have shored up the defence for us today? Khalid as well saying the same thing, Bellerin and Holding. We need them back ASAP. Do you think, Nigel will ask you as the defensive expert here, do you think with them in the side it would have been less than 5-1?
Very difficult to say. I think Holding is hugely improved this season. I think, you know, when they brought him to the club, they obviously brought him here because there is big potential, but his inconsistency was too erratic to really let him play week in, week out. You see him play in a cup final where he was man of the match, and then I watched him play at the start of last season where Arsene Wenger withdrew him from the team after the first couple of home games because he was so poor. But this season, he's been a real shining light. He really has stood up and developed his game. So, yes, it may have helped, but when we are so easy today, we were so easy to play through, and then you're looking to have a organised back 3, back 5, whatever you want, and when we were asked to stand up one against one individually and make it difficult for the opposition, it almost looked at times when we just lay down. I mean, it was for me. It's hard watching.
I think we need to be realistic. The reality is yes, there are like Bellerin. I think has improved a lot this year, and he's starting to show the kind of player he is. Holding, absolutely, he's been arguably our best central defender this year. But the simple fact is, they would have come in. We might have lost 4-1. There are issues here when we defend as a team. It's not because people make mistakes. Individually, there are mistakes that lead to us losing games. But it's the way we defend as a team and how we are basically using what Emery is telling us and trying to get that into our kind of strategy and tactics. It's not completely working. There's a bit of a breakdown. And I think some players, unfortunately, have a mental issue where it's like they just can't seem to get it going in their actual heads. So I think that I'd like to, of course I think Holding's decent, but he's a young man. He's not leading the whole defence. Koscielny's just back from injury. Look, I think the biggest thing we can do, and it's funny that we've played against Liverpool today, but I look to Liverpool and how Klopp has transitioned his team, and that should be the model that we try to attack. You've got 3 years to get us up to the stage where we're challenging for the league. They're challenging for the league. They were in the Champions League final last year. They went to a Europa League final in his first year, I think. You know, and there was a point we were talking about earlier, Nick. Very early in Klopp's tenure, there was a point where he had to get top 4, and he'd done it by the skin of his teeth because we dropped out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I think we're in that situation. I think we do really need to get into top 4, but ultimately we're not going to see the full kind of value of what Emery brings to the party for at least 3 years.
I think also as well what we will find out over time is how much money we've got to spend, because what Jurgen Klopp has done brilliantly at Liverpool is he had a lot of these attacking options, but Liverpool were pretty much the same. You got a lot of their games 3-2, 4-3. So he identified that also against some of the smaller teams, they went missing a little bit. They beat the bigger teams, they lost to the smaller teams. Defensively, they couldn't cope when they were supposed to, and he just went right. New goalkeeper, new centre half.
Yeah.
You know, I'll bring in a new left back. Left back was 8 million, but Van Dijk was 75 million. I think the goalkeeper was, it was 40 odd million. He's gone, I know where my weaknesses are, buff, buff, buff. But that takes money. And I'm waiting to see whether Arsenal will spend that amount of money. If we are seriously talking about in 3 years' time challenging back for the title, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take 70 million for one player. It's going to take 40 million for another. It's probably going to, and you maybe get a couple of the younger players come through from your academy that come in as well. But it's going to take a lot of money as well.
Big investment is needed. Well, if you squint your eyes, guys, or think really, really hard, there are some positives to take from the game. No, believe me, Iwobi had a good game. I think it's fair to say. Social media saying so as well. To Kingston, who says Iwobi gets a lot of flack from Arsenal fans, but he's the strongest ball carrier in the squad. Rudy says Alex Iwobi has had his best half of football this season. By the way, shame it counts for little. Another one here saying, although we're playing terribly, I'd like to take a moment to appreciate Alex Iwobi's performance. The lad is giving this game his all. So Iwobi getting a lot of love on social media, and I think we were talking about it outside, saying he was our best dribbler today.
He was his best player, full stop. It was basically the only one who stood up. I feel bad for Aubameyang. Just no service. I mean, you couldn't even give him a match rating because it just didn't have any help. But Iwobi was doing things on his own. He is our best ball carrier anyway. We know that. I personally think that whilst he's played well, he's still inconsistent. So, he's had a good game, but he's not at that level every week. And I'd like to see more of a goal threat in terms of... He reminds me a bit of Haleb. Haleb dribble round everyone, but when it comes in front of goal, there's no one to pass to, he panics. And we need goal scorers. For me, I think we're heading into a situation where we are not... Until things get sorted out, we're not going to be able to out-defend teams. So I want to see our strikers starting every game now. I think Aubameyang and Lacazette need to be playing every game. They are the only way. I've said it all along. If we get top four, I think both of them need to hit 20. Aubameyang looks like he's well on the way anyway, and he will do that. But I think Lacazette needs to be... That dual threat is the only way that we're going to get over the line, because we cannot count right now on the defence to hold us in games.
I think what we also need to do is, I think, I certainly have on bits of social media, of given the team a lot of credit this season so far, and I think rightly so. Today, we're criticising, and again, I think rightly so, but the judgment will come. What we all have to do is, after this, we've finished here, is take a breath, rethink about it, and then watch as the season progresses to see where we finish, to see, right, this is really what we need to do with the players individually. This is where we need to go. Unai Emery will be already doing that. And this is where we finished this season. Was it better than last season under Arsene Wenger, or do we think we're still in the same position, or do we think we're worse off? I don't think many people are going to say, at the end, when we get to the end of the season, I don't think many people say we're going to be worse off, because I think a lot of people felt it was the right time to make that change. So what you've got to do now is trust the manager that eventually he's going to get it right. Because if we don't do that, then we might as well make another change straight away. So that's the completely wrong thing to do. Trust this manager; he will get it right. You've got to give him several transfer windows to work, but we can only give him several transfer windows if he's going to get the money to spend. And I think that is a massive question that will be asked, particularly at the end of this season.
We'll have to wait and see. I think we've got a tweet which sums up the game perfectly. Hello to the Kip Factory says, as Arsenal, we can run, but we cannot hide. Our frailties have been exposed and everyone is watching. We are ourselves, our plan and our strategy all on the wrong side. You can't play like that against Liverpool. I think it's fair to say we saw that today, guys. I just need to get a one-word sign-off from you both. I can imagine this is going to be hugely positive, but who wants to go first?
Disaster.
Disaster from Nigel.
Disappointing.
Disappointing from Johnny. Thank you to you both. I'm sure we'll have you back in the Arsenal Nation live studio very, very soon. Hopefully a better result so we can be happy at full time. Who knows? Right, thank you for watching as well. Make sure you join us again for Arsenal Nation Live for the Fulham game on New Year's Day. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.